have another guest. We have the Amin. All right. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing good, CP. How are you doing?
Fine. As long as I don't have wives and four wives and four mother-in-law, I'm safe and secure.
That's funny. That's good. That's good. I won't keep you long. I just had a quick question for you. The other day, I was debating I guess like a prominent Muslim apologist. He was one of um, what's his guy's name? Shabir Ali. He was one of
Mhm,
his like students or whatever,
mhm.
and he came on because I was talking about how, like the Bible, instead of us trying to prove that the Bible is not corrupt with like Dead Sea Scrolls and stuff like that and just history, because Muslims don't care about history apparently, that we can actually prove it from the Quran, because it says Musaddiqun lima baina yadehi, like
Exactly.
it was between their hands, right? So
Right.
I was saying that, and he came in, and I started saying, well, if the Quran is so perfectly preserved, why do we have hadith that say like there was verses of breastfeeding or of stoning, right? I think it was where it says this is Sahih Abu Bukhari 6829. It says, I'm afraid that after a long time has passed, people may say we do not find the verses of the Rajam, stoning to death, in the holy book.
Exactly.
So and then I brought up the hadith where it says, Sunan ibn Majah 1944, it says the verse of stoning, right, and of breastfeeding an adult 10 times was revealed, and the paper was with me under my pillow. And this is, of course, like, it was preserved in the belly of the goat, as you say sometimes, which is true.
Yeah.
So the question I have here is, his rebuttal to this was, well, there were different types of wahi that were revealed, and not all of it was supposed to be in the Quran. But I'm just like, okay, it was revealed, like Zayd bin Thabit was commissioned by Abu Bakr to go and collect the various verses, and those were in the Quran. So how do you know? It's like there's so many different excuses that they make. The question is, this verse was supposed to be in the Quran. It even says it in the Hadith, but it's like, what do you say to them when it's obvious that they're lying? And the Muslims, because they look up to these people, they just believe everything that they say, even when you continually prove to them that what they're saying is not true. Like how do you combat something like that? It's very frustrating.
Well, first of all, Shabir Ali is not a legitimate teacher to be considered as a teacher, and nobody considers him as a teacher. Uh, but these days it's a business. You grow a beard, and then business is good, right?
Right.
Uh, like Shabir Ali, he was quoting the miracle of number 19, if you remember, and
Mhm.
I challenged him to count the words in the verse he quoted while he was speaking to David Wood. He mentioned them, but David Wood do not know Arabic, and he's not really a good debater. So he let him, like, why you don't ask him to count it right now? Count it. Let us see if they are what he said, the number he said. So Muslims, as long they survive a debate, they
Mhm.
did not get humiliated. Muslim, they follow them because they are defending the faith anyway,
Right.
not because they are really like superb, smart, intelligent. Uh, and this is why they avoid to come to me. And Shabir Ali, you remember? I don't know if you saw the video.
Mhm.
We supposedly we will go on debate, and then he ran away. He bought my books.
Right.
Actually, I saw him myself. He bought my books, and then a few days after, he contacted ABN TV, and he says, "I apologize. I cannot do because I'm busy with my PhD." And since then, Shabir Ali is doing his PhD, and he will never finish.
Right.
And this is the case for the rest of them. However, all the Muslims, if I show them now, right now, a video of Shabir Ali saying something, embarrassment, the Muslim themselves, they will say, Shabir Ali is not God, and he is not a scholar. The same for Yasser Qadi.
Hmm.
Yasser Qadi was their master. I mean, Mimi Hijab, he keep inviting him for interview. He shake, yeah, shake, yeah, shake, and he's asking him a question. You don't bring a person for interview if he's nobody, you know,
Right.
and you are the one who's asking the question, and he is the one who gave the answer. Obviously, he's a higher authority than you. So he was their sheikh until he shake their faith. And the second he said there is holes in the narrative, they flip upside on him and they start cursing him, and he is not a Muslim, And I will not be surprised if they say one day that he was paid by the Jews, you know. So they don't really, the Muslims, they are people who they are trying to cover the holes in the narrative. And any of their scholar, he says something, expose those holes, they wash their hand from him. As long he is doing good to lie to the Christians, he is good. The second he got busted, we don't know him. And look, there's a Muslim, he said in the chat, he said hadith is not God. Hadith is not God. But if hadith is not God, how come Islam cannot be completed without the hadith?
Exactly.
Isn't it the Quran says that the best of the hadith is the Quran? So if hadith is not God, why Allah he make hadith? Why his prophet make hadith? And why you Muslims go by the hadith against the Quran?
Right. There's also, like, when they use that argument, I always ask them, like, okay, well, if you don't want to go to the hadith, like for instance, if you the verse, I think it's Sunan Abu Dawud 44:49, where it says that Muhammad swore on the Torah. And they say, well, you know, this is graded Hassan by Al-Albani, but, you know, the chain is weak, or, you know, there's an issue in the chain. And I'm just like, okay, well, we can also go to like Surat Rasulullah. Like it also says that Muhammad swore on the Torah. And then they say, well, you know, that was, you know, there was issues with that biography. And then I say, okay, well, let's just go to the Quran, Surah 3, verse 3. And like I said earlier, Musaddiqun lima bayna yadayhi, it says it right there that like Muhammad had the Torah with him. And they say, yeah, but you know, it was the Torah at that time. And I'm just like, okay, well, so you're saying that the Bible is corrupt now? They say yes. I say, well, how do you know that the Bible is corrupt now if you don't have the original to compare it to? I mean, obviously, Muhammad wasn't reading the Torah and the Injil, because if you just go to the Quran, it says that, I think it's Surah 10, verse 94, it says that Muhammad couldn't read or write. So it's not like he's reading the Torah and the Injil and saying, hey, you know, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is what it's supposed to say. It's like you keep bringing things up to them and they just have excuse after excuse after excuse. There's even a hadith, I think it's Sahih al-Bukhari 74:39. It's talking about like the shin of Allah. And in that like narration, there's a section in there where it's all like, something will be said that this came from your Lord. And then the Muslims will say, this did not come from Allah. It's like, even if Allah himself was to give you hadith or was to give you a narration, you guys say it's weak. It's like, it's frustrating having to deal with it over and over again. And I was just curious as to like, you know, what you would say about how to deal with some of that to get people to understand the ridiculousness of this religion. And you did a good job explaining it.
When a Muslim, he says something to you, use their words against them. So let us say, as you said, they say to you, in the time of Muhammad,
right,
the Torah was not corrupt. But the Muslim, they claim that Allah he sent Muhammad because the Torah and the Bible is corrupt. So if in his time the Torah and the gospel is not corrupt, then there is no reason for Muhammad to come. Secondly, the reason the Muslim, they say that the Torah and the Bible is corrupt, they say the Quran says يحرفون الكلم عن مواضعه.
Okay.
So they change the location of words, and the word yuharrif is coming from corruptions actually. But the Quran speak about a kind of corruption which is very weird, which is changing the location of the word, right?
Okay.
So the Quran says in chapter 4, verse number 46, من الذين هادوا يحرفون الكلم عن مواضعه الكلم عن مواضعه. So from those who they are Jews, some of them, not all of them, they change the location of the words from its location,
from their places.
So how Muhammad he swear by the book which they say to you in their time to be accurate, yet the Quran says that some of the Jews, they, you see the translation is false, by the way. You see here it says they pervert words of their meaning. You know the story, what happened, Muhammad, he was the same, actually the same story here you see in about Muhammad, he had taken an oath. If you read the story behind this, you will see supposedly a Jew, he placed his finger over the stoning to death. He did not take the words, he did not rip the page. They are reading the same page.
That's actually insert. If you go back 3 hadith, Sunan Abu Dawud 44:46, you see the story there where he tries to cover it, but then Muhammad says, "Move your hand."
And here you ask yourself, how this guy, he did not know how to read Arabic, and now he is reading Hebrew. You know, so Islam is a very stupid religion, my friend. Just listen to what they say and use it. This is my advice for all the Christians. You know, you sound like you are doing a good job, like you are learning, and you know, and you have a good memory. So listen to what they say, let them throw rocks at you, and then collect them and throw them back. Use their rocks, don't use your own.
Right.
Let the Muslim say what he want to say, and this is why they don't dare to debate me, because I use what they say, and after they say it, I say, are you sure?
And
The second you say, are you sure, Muhammad, and he take a hike. So I stopped using it. Actually, I'm not using I sure no more. I try to forget about it, because he knew now, based on their experience, when I say that, are you sure, that's mean the trap is ready, and now we will put you in the cage. So Islam is just a stupid silly cult. And then if we ask the Muslims, okay, Muhammad was sent by Allah, what is the purpose?
Right.
If he say to you to correct the teaching, well, Jesus says love your enemy. I mean, why the Christian they will make this up? Jesus says if somebody hit your right cheek, give him the other one. Why the Christian they will? I mean, who like those things? We don't like it really, actually. I mean, if somebody hit me, I will hit him back, right? I mean, this is very hard. This is very tough. Who of us you know, like to just forgive everybody? Everybody you see, anyone do harm for you, forgive. This is this Christianity. So if Muhammad, he came to correct, well, he should follow the steps of Jesus. When Jesus, why the Christian, they will say one woman, men they like to have many of them they like. There's men, they sleep with women every day, in every new day. This is why, you know, they wanna date, or you know, they are so why a Christian man wanna corrupt a book and say you marry only one?
Right.
And then why Muhammad, who is claiming to be a messenger of Allah, and Allah is teaching ethic, then the ethic says you can have 4, but Muhammad is over the ethic.
11.
And Muhammad, he can do as he wish, he can divorce as he wish, he have unlimited, the booty is as he wish, he don't even need to pay dowry for women. So everything about him is exception. And all cult leaders, they share one thing: they want your money and your women, all of them, even if they are claiming to be Christian, like a Christian priest. You know, he claimed to be Christian, but maybe he's a child molester like Muhammad. So even that, we will find it in Muhammad. If we find the priest, he is a money worshiper, so he claimed to be servant of God, but yet he have a very, you know, he want to buy a jet for himself, like Mr. Dollar, you know. So he want to buy a jet for himself, and you have to donate for me so I can buy the jet, because the Lord told me. Who is going to believe in such a garbage? People are dying in Africa, right? If you have extra money, you know, the jet will not do anything to God, will not do anything to any of us. If you have extra money to the point you can buy an airplane, well, what about you feed maybe 1 million child in Africa who they are dying from hunger? So you know them from their fruits. And the Bible have, this is the golden rule: Muhammad, the fruits is extremely ugly, disgusting, evil, sexually zero ethic, money zero ethic, trustworthy zero ethic. How many Muslims they say to us Muhammad is a trustworthy? How he is a trustworthy, and then he break the agreement he made with the disbelievers. He go to his own son wife when the husband is not there, and in their books, this is not a Jewish article, not a Christian article, in their books they say the prophet he flirt with her. In their book it says that Allah says to him, why you are hiding what is in your heart for the women? I mean, have you ever heard of a God he encouraged a man to have lust to a woman she is not his? And why Muhammad, he need this woman? Already he have many wives. So what is the purpose? Nothing, except his lust. So Muhammad, he is the God of Islam, and he is trying to make himself supreme. He changed his name from Qatham to Muhammad. Muhammad means the praised one.
Right.
So the Muslim, they claim they worship God. If Muhammad is the praised one, who is the praised to? Allah. You know, the Muslim, they say the one, number one, Allah is one, right? But who is the praised one? It's not Allah, it is Muhammad. This is his name. This is a name should be given to God, not to a man.
You know, it's interesting. Like when you just, I'm thinking about what you said in reference to that. Like his real name is Qasim, and it's like the Muslims. And this will be the last thing I say because I know there might be some other people waiting. And I appreciate you taking my call. But it's like when you said like, hey, like just listen to what they say because common sense would just help you to understand falsehood from the truth. It's like they say, like Muhammad's name is in the Bible. For one, if the Bible's corrupt, how is Allah? How is Muhammad's name going to be in there? Like, how do you know that that's not corrupt? But if Muhammad's name is Qasim and it's not Muhammad, then it's like, okay, well, they say, see, like in Song of Solomon, this is Muhammadan or whatever. That proves that it's Muhammad. But I'm like, but his name is Qasim. So it's like if Muhammad's name is in there, why shouldn't his real name be in the Quran? Or like it's crazy. Like even the Muslims say, well, Jesus spoke Aramaic. Just using common sense, it's like, okay, if Jesus spoke Aramaic, why don't you have the original in Aramaic? It's like, okay, if you go to Surah 19, verse 33, it's Jesus is speaking here. Isa, the Fortnite Jesus, their imitation of Jesus. Jesus is speaking and he says, blessed be the day that I was born and the day I die. So then I say, well, Jesus spoke Aramaic, right? They say, yes. I said, well, this is in Arabic. I'm like, if you guys are so stringent about the language, why is Muhammad not quoting this in Aramaic? Why is he translating it? So translations are good for you, but Allah can translate stuff for the Quran, but he can't translate it for the Bible. It's like you said, like you just think about what they say and it's just pure insanity. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why anybody wants to be a Muslim. It's a very weird religion.
What about Allah? He translated the language of the ant. You know, and Sulaiman, he learned the language of the birds, yet he understand the ant. And by the way, the other day I went in my yard and I saw an ant. I tried to communicate with her. You know, I said, did you know Sulaiman? Have you ever met him? Like your friends, your cousin, your grandma, she told you about Sulaiman. If you know anything, just let me know. But let me ask you, say something to you before you go. In chapter 61, verse number 6, the Quran says that in the Bible, the name should appear is Ahmad, not Muhammad. And if they say it's the same, no, it's not the same. Otherwise, it's going to be Muhammad. You see, it's a name. You see, in your name have letters, and you cannot change them. So, according to the Quran, the one who will appear is Ahmad and Muhammad. Then you have to ask questions. Why Muhammad in his time did not say to the Christians, as long he's taken oath in it, open this chapter, read my name. You know what I mean?
All right.
As long the Muslims are sure, and we show the hadith where Muhammad swear by it. All what you need to do, say, okay, you know what? Let us open this chapter. You will find me there. He did not ever do that because he knew he's a fraud. So why he is worried about the stoning to death when he himself he lost it? In the same time, he could not say to the Jews, here we go, there's a verse about me. So we wait 1400 years until somebody, his name is Didat, he learned from somebody Muhammadim, which is very funny, and then suddenly praised one in the Bible is all over the Bible, not only in one place. The word praised one is all over,
right?
You know, so if every word mean the praise, it goes back to Muhammad. This is their madness. But the Bible says it clearly that we have to examine the prophet. There is two exams: the one about prophesying in the name of a false god, and the prophesy which never happened. So if you prophesy in the name of false god, and even if your prophecy happened, you're a false prophet. If you prophesy in the name of the true God, let us say Yahweh, yet your prophecy came false, you're false. Muhammad had both. Muhammad, he prophesied in the name of a false God, and all his prophecy, not a single one, and I changed the Muslim to prove me wrong, came to be true. All right, my friend, thank you very much for being here, and I'm glad to know you and to have you. You are a smart person, I can tell, and I encourage you to study more so you can defeat their lies.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, thank you.
Always use their logic, and this is the easiest way to destroy them. Let them say, let them speak. You know, the more they speak, the more they dig in the ground. They dig a big hole. The bigger the hole, the better.
Yes,
all
sir.
right, take care. Take care, my friend.
Bye-bye.
God bless you. Bye-bye. All right, we have another person.